need a nap.
Little performance anxiety now that we're recording.
No,
Don't talk about my anxiety, Brad.
Yeah, how dare you?
You know
my
who else has
performance.
anxiety? Pretty much everyone in the Imperium. Everybody has anxiety.
You know who doesn't have anxiety? People who go to primetimemagic.com to get magic singles and other fun, awesome things that they will probably have on that website.
Have you been
Wow.
to primetimemagic.com? We have. All right. On that note, in the grimdark of the far future, there is only war, and apparently primetimemagic.com. Welcome to the Tainted Hive Season 2 Children of Rokarth, our playthrough of Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Maledictum by Cubicle 7. I'm your GM Brad, joined tonight by Mike, Alex, Justin, and Carl. And a huge thank you to the gentlemen over at primetimemagic.com for choosing to sponsor
Anxiety-free shopping for you.
the second season of the Tainted Hive. They've got, I just quickly looked because I was like, man, how much they have? They've got Magic the Gathering singles. They've got a deck builder. I don't know what a bayou is. It looks like a land, but they've got one of those.
Oh, that's the dual lands I was talking to you about.
Apparently Magic there's Assassin's Creed Magic decks now. Is that like a commander deck?
There's everything you want. There's Lord of the Rings and Walking Dead and all
What is
kinds
this
of...
game now? You know, do me a favor. Go
I
to
tried to play it with
primetimemagic.com. I know.
It's
and
magic.
You know what?
That's
I said no.
Magic.
So go over to primetimemagic.com, help support the guys who support us, and make it so that I don't have to ever leverage my mortgage again. On that note,
You leveraged your mortgage?
look, I've made a lot of poor decisions when it comes to hobbying. I like Warhammer.
Why don't we just air out everything right here? Let's get it all off our
Yeah,
chest,
Brad, do you
guys.
want to talk about it?
So I think
You having
Brad's just trying to
relationship issues?
normalize poor behavior.
Right.
This is your fault. This is your fault, Mike.
Justin's fault, not mine,
Me?
right?
It's of course my fault. It's always my fault.
It's absolutely
How
Mike's
is it
fault.
my
because
fault?
when COVID hit, a wee young lad like myself thought, oh man, it'd be really nice to paint miniatures again. Let me talk to Mike, who I know still does.
Did I travel to whatever time zone you
Philadelphia?
fucking live in and hold your hand while you painted models? No.
Mike, the gateway drug to Warhammer. On that note, welcome back to the Tainted Hive Season 2. Thank you so much for joining. Let's get right into it, because last time on the Tainted Hive, these intros are getting more and more ridiculous.
They always do.
You four had found yourselves in the prison, the secretive back prison called Rokarth's Eye of Terror, a little tucked away part of the precinct Fortress Majoris, and more specifically, even smaller portion of what was called the Obsidian Lock, the prison within the prison. And well, Rokarth has numerous prisons, numerous detention centers. Not many were meant for prisoners of this caliber. Now, the precinct Fortress Majoris splits the hive, keeps the lower hive down, the upper hive and spire up, prevents people from going between easily. You all found a potentially different ally in Sister L. Maledictum, member of the Adeptus Sororitas, better known as the Sisters of Battle. And she and a few of her sisters helped, first of all, she helped to essentially get you all free from an investigation by Arbitrator Fels Gans of the Adeptus Arbites. Bartered to have Osiris freed, and you three managed to convince the Arbites and the Black Ship troops that taking two other psychers that weren't Osiris was a better option. Because at the end of the day, it was just a psyker for the tithe. As you became freed, you made your way through the labyrinth with Sister L, meeting up with two of her colleagues, and the seven of you made your way to the upper hive. The upper hive was vastly different from the lower hive, with glimpses of the sky itself and the exterior of the hive levels. The merchants and the goods, a higher quality. And while there's still crime in the upper hive, it's a different kind of crime. You have less of the incursions of the gangs of the lower hive and the bowels. You have less of that kind of crime. But you all have now seen the power struggles that take place with those of any level of power in Rokarth. And you've now been an unwitting pawn as a part of that struggle. You've managed to do what Halakarn asked and freed the Psyker without invoking his name or his title. And you begin the second part of your task from Halakarn. which is to find and finally eliminate the source of the Gratis. And in addition to all of that, in exchange for your freedom, the Sisters Hospitalier had asked you to help Petronilla Vivar and the Makarian Vigilites with some infected or corrupted tardigrade meat, and also to speak to one Sister Celestia, the head of the Sisters Hospitalier, who really wanted to speak to Osiris because she thinks she can cure him, though Dmitry could find no illness, minus some malnutrition and some lice. So as we open on today, you've all completed a rest in the Apart Hotel Rokarth Mordecai facility of the Upper Hive, the home of the Sisters Hospitalier. Excuse me. As you wake, each of you are in your beds of this bunk cell. Before we start, you all have gained some experience recently. So if there's anything you've spent experience on, let's quickly share it so that I know what it does as your GM. I know what you have as your GM, but also so you guys know what each other can do and the folks listening at home can keep up. So Dmitry, you want to go first?
Yeah, I took the talent Applied Anatomy. Any critical hits or critical wounds, I get to increase its severity by the number of advantages in the Mordecai skill I have.
So that's fantastic because it means Dmitry can do more severe wounds without exceeding somebody's wounds total than the rest of you. Gives him access to some of those more dangerous critical wounds. Okay. Mordecai, did you spend any experience?
Yeah, I just...
I was like, what are you hoarding it like smog or something over there?
No, I put one advance into weapon skill and one advance into willpower, and it was gone.
That's all of it. How many advances are you into each of those at this point?
Just one each.
Just one into each. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Roderick Wrangler, anything for you?
Well, I put 1 point into presence, of course, because I'm very presentable. And I'm also more ambidextrous now because I've been fiddling with my fiddlestick.
That's wrong Patreon. Wrong Patreon.
What? This isn't OnlyFans.
There's no OnlyFans in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. It's just only
Brad,
the
were you
Emperor.
on when we had that discussion?
Only
No, I
Emperors.
wasn't.
You might have been you might have been AFK for that.
It was a unanimous vote.
What have I been
it's
signed up? All right,
happening.
anyway, on that note, Osiris, what about you?
I can move objects with my mind.
Excellent. You wanna-
No, I took 2 psychic powers. I took float, so I can float, or I can make objects lighter for a temporary time. And then I also took spectral hands, so I can psychically pick up objects and manipulate them how I wish. And that includes attacking with them if I so choose.
Love it.
Or
Does that
peeling
mean you
an
can
orange?
break them with your mind hand?
It means I don't have to bite it open any more oranges.
All I can envision with Osiris right now is that movie Accepted, I think it's called, where they make a fake college and he wants to blow shit up with his mind, just
Yeah.
staring at a pineapple.
Yeah.
Ask me about my wiener.
I told
Say
you.
no.
Wrong Patreon.
I want to learn how to blow shit up with my mind.
All right. So the 4 of you awake in your beds, feeling rested. Given that most of you were up for the better part of 36 to 38 hours, and Osiris, you have been on your feet for 3 weeks, you awaken to find that it is late afternoon. The day has passed. You all slept for a solid 8 hours. Only awakened by the evening bells sounding for evening hymnals and evening prayers to the God Emperor. As the evening bells toll, you may find yourself struggling to get out of bed, but a small window, small space at the top of your door pushes open, and a floating cherub flies in with what appears to be some kind of a stringed instrument, but it doesn't play the instrument. The instrument is just a speaker that begins to play the faint sounds of the hymnal music for the prayers that are about to begin. Dmitry, Mordecai, Roderick, Osiris, how would you find this upon waking up a floating baby that is a servitor. So it is essentially a corpse that's been turned into a servitor that is playing hymnal music out of the baby.
I feel like Woody and
I'd
Sid's
shoo
room.
it out of the room
Okay.
like it was a big moth.
I wouldn't have opened my eyes to look at it, so I wouldn't know.
I get
Okay.
up and stand at attention.
Oh, okay. All right. So as Osiris stands to attention, Roderick doesn't move. Mordecai, what did you do?
I said I feel like Sheriff Woody in Sid's room. Like, I don't know.
That's pretty fitting. That is
not
pretty
It's not great.
pretty fitting image. Dmitry, being the most accustomed to servitors, just gets up and gives it a wave, and it flies a little higher. And you wave at it again, and it slowly pulls itself out of the room.
Nothing like a bit of music to start.
Gentlemen, evening is
Yes.
yours. What would you like to do?
I'd like to go get into trouble.
It's you. Like, I need to ask that. Come on.
Is there some sort of cafe or
It's a
Tavern.
recafe.
So you
nearby?
are at a Medicaid
a
facility.
recafe?
Yeah, you are at a Medicaid facility, which the Sisters Hospitalia use to treat individuals of the Upper Spire.
Oh,
Excuse me, the Upper Hive. There's absolutely
In that
access
case-
to food of some kind.
in that case, I'm going to talk to some of the Medicaid personnel and let them know that I heard rumors of Augustus Urel, that his health has been suffering. Sounds like he might be kind of in his last days. Some of his people have been a little worried about him.
Give me a rapport check with a +20.
Okay.
Are you just starting the biggest whisper campaign I've seen so far?
Maybe.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe. Hold on, I can't. I opened too many tabs now. You said +20?
Yep.
Okay, so that's going to be a 35 under 53.
Okay. You find that you find willing ears to listen, members of the Hospitalier, and also you as you share this rumor, you see that there are members of the Administratum as well, the Officio Medicae, who are here as well, and they all listen. They all nod and they go, "Well, the general consensus is we'll bring him in for treatment then." But the rumor seems to take. You do find a couple folks who look at you and they say, "I've heard that name. There's some preacher in the street telling everyone to pray for his corrupted soul."
Oh, it seems he must be corrupted with the taint and his health is failing. Well, if that is the case, maybe he's getting what he deserves.
Dmitry, I don't know if you're out with Mordecai, but as you would walk through the space, you would recognize that this is a strange interplay. The Officio Medicae and the Adeptus Sororitas in a space, two conflicting offices that may have the same end goal, but not the same methodology, sharing a Medicaid facility. Not super common.
Actually, while he's off spitting game,
Okay.
I'd like to go wander around, staying pretty close to the group, but inquiring about Chirurgeon kit refills and where those are located.
So it being an Officio Medicae, being a Medicaid facility, your Chirurgeon kit absolutely can get refilled. They will charge you the standard rate for a refill pack, as found in the armory. They absolutely have
Okay.
the supplies. They will happily sell them to you, but they will charge you.
I'll let you know how much I pay in a minute. I could look at it.
Okay. Okay. Roderick,
As-
Osiris, anything?
As I finished my rest, I tried to do prescience while I slept. I rolled an 88, which was a fail by 1, which doesn't do what you are thinking.
I wish it did, because it is it could
I
be a critical
read
fail,
it
but
pretty
it's not.
closely. I was
I
trying
know.
to see if it did, but the warp
wish it
rating
did.
on that psychic power is only a 1.
No.
A failure by 1 would have just given me 1 warp charge, but
Yes.
doing a critical fumble will double that. So now
Correct.
2 out of my 3 max warp charges. So
Oh, gee darn. You'd wish that rolling a critical fail on a test would just make a parallel warp occur, but no.
I don't wish that at all.
I do. I absolutely do.
Go
Okay.
visit the closet, bud.
So, Osiris, anything for you?
Would I have to have redone my
Yes.
Demon's Eyes?
Because you rest, you got to redo any sustained powers. Yes.
Okay, so then, like, the night before, I would have purgated the charges that I had from the first one.
Okay, so roll a
Purgate
purgation
in a church?
Oh, I mean, are we in a church? I was just under
You
the
are in a
assumption.
church that is a Medicaid facility. Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like really low.
Would
on
I,
the
in
list of
character, know that
places.
this is not something to do here?
Yes.
Then I wouldn't do that.
You can purgate anywhere you wish, but
Just go for a little stroll.
you could go for a stroll.
Yeah, I'll go about doing that.
Okay, so
I
because
would
you'll
have
do
done that.
that,
I would have done that the night before. And purgate.
yeah, because you do it the night before, it would be not stressful. So just roll me the D10. I'm sorry, the D100 for your psychic phenomena.
49.
Okay, so where you purgate from, the Banshee Howl kicks in, and as you are walking through this alley in the upper hive, walking down one of the side streets, there just becomes this loud screeching wail that goes on for about 8 minutes. As you're walking away, you continue to hear it as you make your way back to the church, but you have successfully purgated your warp charges.
Okay, then that was the night before.
How many charges did you have?
Just the 2 from the ability.
And so
I believe it's 2. Hang on.
with your willpower bonus, you should easily purgate all your charges.
So then, yeah, in the morning I'm reapplying that so I can see again.
All right, roll that test.
Hang on. Special caveat to it, so give me a second. Ooh, 22.
Nice.
There's not double crits in this. That's fantasy. Right?
Yeah, nothing to worry about there. You are just testing here. It's not a combat test. It's not a crit.
And that goes off of my psychic mastery.
Yep.
$22 under 78.
Yeah, absolutely. With 5 success levels, you can get that off.
And if you score at least 5 success levels on your manifestation test, you can sense creatures, objects, and movement using senses other than sight, allowing me to ignore the blinded condition.
There you go. So you have officially gained bat-like sonar, essentially.
Yeah.
So I'm
Roderick?
not buying that, Brad.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't realize it just refilled your current one. I thought it was like another magazine for it.
Oh,
So I
no.
still have 4 charges on mine, so I'm not.
Got it. I mean, you could buy a second kit if you wanted, which would do what you're asking, but if you have
No,
4
that's-
charges, that's a
they're
lot of money to
expensive.
spend. Yeah, they are. Roderick and Osiris, you both completed your short-term ambition last time. Did you select a new one yet? That's okay.
I actually think Roderick, having realized that he's now has his fate bound to this Osiris human,
Okay.
would undertake a goal of successfully spreading rumors that Osiris was slain to keep this Lord Draven from hunting him, because he doesn't want the trouble of it.
Okay.
Oh, we're all just becoming a group of babbly fellas.
Just a bunch of hens.
Mhm.
Knitting circle.
That is an acceptable short-term ambition. I will tell you if and when you complete it.
Sounds good.
Okay. As the day begins, I guess the evening begins, Dmitry wandering off to look into chirurgeon supplies, Mordecai heading out and things like that. A tall woman, surrounded by 3 floating cherubs, each carrying a scroll of script with actual angelic wings flapping behind them, walks down the center of the space. She is flanked by 2 members of the Adeptus Sororitas, whose armor is the bright black, crisp, polished, red fleur-de-lis on the left breast, and the left shoulder is gold. And they flank her on either side. Each of them carry what appears to be a gold-plated melta.
Sick. I want some of the weapons these ladies got.
She is 6 foot. The woman in the front is 6'2". She's tall, muscular. Her armor is jet black. Both of the breasts of the armor have a extended out, rounded fleur-de-lis epaulet, essentially. Shield kind of thing. Her left shoulder sticks straight out and has a motif of the emperor on his golden throne. Her right epaulet is another fleur-de-lis, also in white, trimmed in red with a red slash across it. From behind her rises what appears to be small cathedral spires off of her power pack. And a extendable chirurgeon's arm comes off her left shoulder, ending in a saw, a scalpel, scissors, 2 different syringes, and a pair of pliers. It's like a multi-tool on a little extendo arm. Her face has stitches running down the left cheek, the left of her jaw. Her right eye is replaced with an augmetic. It glows a greenish blue. And she wears a white cowl that drapes down to meet with her red robes that run under her armor. She sees you. She begins to walk towards you. As she approaches, the 4 of you having done your errands and reconvened before heading out, the cherubs flit around you all, doing semicircles in opposite directions, scrolls of prayers hanging from their hands. And she says, "You must be our honored guests. Sister L has told me about each of you. The soldier of the Penal Legion. The fair old man who speaks with a silken tongue. The non-feral man who speaks with a brazen tongue.
Hey, that's me.
And the tireless seer of the warp."
Where? I don't see him.
Ha! I appreciate you all coming to our space and gracing us with your stay. I am Sister Celestia, head of the Order Hospitalier, the Sisters of the Adeptus Sororitas, here on Rokarth. If there is anything you need of the Sisterhood, please do not be afraid to ask. But we have needs of you, having removed you from a inextricable situation. There is a shuttle waiting for you. You can reach it from the Void Buttress here on this level. You do not need to return to the Mud Gates. It is one of ours. It will take you where you need to go before returning. But, and she looks at you, Osiris, you I am most intrigued by. You have an affliction, a condition that I find vastly important and curious to the state of the Imperium.
And what affliction might this be?
It is the affliction of the warp. You have the ability to call upon the darkness. It is a very strange thing. It is a dangerous thing. Your
It is
people
a
are...
tool that I use very carefully.
Which is good. That is why you are important. See, there are so many of your kind who do not do so. And I believe that we could cure them. We could fix them. I would love to speak with you when you are done. I will not hold you now, but I am very curious to speak with you and to see what you have going on in that brain of yours. That's all I ask. A conversation.
So, let me get this straight. And I look at Osiris. I eyeball the fact that he's missing an arm. I kind of look up at his blindfold. I look back at her. You want to fix him, but you want to look at his brain. No. maybe something else.
Cannot make missing limbs come back. But he is a perfect sample of those who can touch the darkness and use it for the light. There is something to be said about that portion of his people versus those who touch the darkness and fall to madness or corruption or danger. It's all here, not here.
Roderick just looks completely baffled by this concept.
She looks at you, Osiris. She goes, I believe you understand, though I do not think your dullard friend does.
Did you just call me a dullard?
Yes.
I put my hand on Roderick's shoulder. This is not the place.
Well, fine.
Until then.
Well, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just remaining silent.
No, please.
When that was out of character, I'm saying Osiris is remaining silent.
Oh. She looks at you and she goes, Think of the ask. Think of the offer. Think of the good you can do for the God Emperor. But, come, let us take you to your awaiting chariot. And she guides you through the apart hotel Rokarth Medicaid facility. Now, you came in late, you crashed hard. As you walk through this space, you see that the center of the paths are carpeted with thick, plush, red carpet trimmed in gold. Your footsteps make no sound as they sink within this carpet. There are novitiates of the Adeptus Sororitas scrubbing with hand in hand the tile, and what they're using appears to be some kind of a lime wash. Their skin is actually pink up to their wrist as they are dipping bristles and scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing. The center of the facility is a massive golden statue of a Sister of Battle. Full armor, a sword held above her head, a halo behind her head. You see as Sister Celestia looks to it and makes the sign of the Aquila, touches her forehead. This is one of our greatest treasures. Sister who served Lord Sola himself. She helped to liberate this world. Some say she was a saint. I do not think so. I think she was just a very good servant of the God Emperor. But you see as the statue is being scoured, at the bottom there are novitiates with small, fine brushes cleaning, and at the top those cherubs all around. The wards branch from this central area like spokes of a wheel, and each ward has a different set of symbols and numbers above the door. Some of them have what is very blatantly a quarantine-style symbolization. Some have the signs of just being places of rest. Others have marks of the stave and snakes that you would expect from an apothecary or from a Mordecai. And she's just babbling of what they do here, how they serve the upper hive, how they keep the people healthy and care for those who are wounded. She guides you past all of this to a single spoke, one of those branches, which has the fleur-de-lis with a red slash across it. She says, "These are our chambers. I will take you through." And she winds you through this area. On either side of the main path that she takes you down are little more than Spartan-esque cells for sleep. Each one having the chest at the foot of a small bed, a small desk, all lit by candles. There are no lumen lamps here. The whole space smells of burning tallow and candle smoke. You see as members of the sororitas move into their space, and on the back wall next to their bed, if they have it, their armor hangs, along with their weapons. Those
Do I see any bolt pistols?
You see bolters, you see bolt pistols, you see a flamer, you see chain swords.
Get a pipe up and ask, where do I get one of those bolt pistols? Those look fun.
Each of the sacred weapons that is carried by our sisters has been anointed by the sororitas and the ecclesiarchy itself. To obtain one, you must do an astounding duty to the saint, the solar, and the God Emperor himself. Our novitiates must scour at the tiles for 2 full years before earning the rights to earn their armor. And only then may they serve the Sister Hospitalier with more than just toil. You are not ready. Also, you are a man.
One of those things is true.
Some may say both. And she keeps guiding you through the space. You come to a door, and it is metal, the center set with the symbol of the Adeptus Mechanicus, a half skull, half metallic, or half bone, half metallic skull inside of a cog. And she reaches up, tugs off a ceramite gauntlet, and places her hand onto a scanner. Scans up, scans down, a small piece extrudes. She places her one good eye to that scanner. Scans. Shh, door hisses open, steam and smoke rolling out around your feet, and you find yourselves on a small landing pad specific to this building. It does attach to the Void Buttress, which is the huge spire that runs up the entirety of the hive, where all of the ships attach to. The Mudgate is attached to the Void Buttress. The major ships docked in suborbit are attached to the Void Buttress, or at least on a dock. But this is where all of the landing pads come from. The landing pad you landed on, the landing pad A3.M46.21, was attached to the Void Buttress. This is the main lifeline out of the hive to space, or just the air. Sitting at the edge is a small shuttle. Looks very similar to the one you flew in, but it is where the shuttle you had was coated with a lack of emblems. Very plain, very much meant to fly under the radar. This one is very blatantly not. A huge fleur-de-lis is on either side. The whole ship is bright black, like a very vibrant gloss black with a red slash through the fleur-de-lis. This is one of our shuttles. A pilot waits to take you out to the... She consults. One of the cherubs flies by and she grabs the scroll and goes, "The tardigrade fields." Okay. When you have finished, please come back. See us. And she looks directly at you, Osiris, and says, "I really would like to have that conversation."
We will speak.
Good. If we need to get in touch with you, can I just have your whatever code you get to contact somebody?
She rubs her chin and says,
With my Voxcaster.
The Vox code will be provided. And the shuttle, you'll get the Vox code on the shuttle. Yeah. She doesn't know it off the top of her head, but the shuttle driver will have it.
Sounds good.
Are tardigrade, is that like an animal?
Space bears.
That's a great question. Let's talk about tardigrade.
Space bears.
Nope.
Water bears.
Nope.
Okay.
Not
tardigrade
wrong.
is it's essentially a huge monstrous creature. It doesn't have a definitive defined form. It kind of, the way I think of it is, it kind of looks like a giant tadpole. But they
Does it look anything like a real tardigrade?
Do they have 8 legs?
Isn't the tardigrade like the is it the water bear?
It's a microscopic
Ooh, it's a moss
organism.
piglet. It's a water bear. Yeah, it's going to look exactly like that. Perfect.
Oh, but giant?
Did you
The
not
giant.
know that tardigrades were real?
I did not know tardigrades were real.
Masters in what?
Yeah, they're
I love this. Oh my god.
supposedly like the most survivable creature on the planet. They can live in space and be dehydrated for hundreds of years and all kinds of crazy shit.
These are hideous looking. I love it. Yeah, that's exactly what it
Oh,
looks
they're
like.
sweet. They're sweet, pudgy
but
little
giant. Okay.
things that are getting exploited into food in this universe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so, yeah. So that's exactly what it looks like. But yeah,
Okay.
they are harvested for meat in this world.
Of course they are. Just like
Turns
the
out
humans.
everybody in 40K is actually microscopic.
Yes.
How do you think the galaxy is so big?
Yeah.
And
It's all
40K,
coming.
it's
It's all coming together.
It's really a jacked up X, and it's just the 40X on a microscope.
40,000 magnification.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Shit's straight up wiling out at the microscope.
Who's down in Whoville are really
Yeah.
fucking up against the universe.
Oh my god.
Well, I'm glad we got
a
that
straight up
sorted.
toilet.
All right.
Y'all head onto the shuttle. The motors fire up. The shuttle lifts. You each have a jump seat to sit in. The pilot, a female voice, rings out and says, "All right, lads. We'll have you to your destination soon enough. Sit tight. Pray to the God Emperor. And thank the machine spirits that this ship has taken flight yet again."
Wait, what?
It's you would know that that's just a standard blah blah blah. They give thanks to the machine spirits every time a machine works.
All right, I'll stand down.
It's like
I want to know more about
No,
specifically.
Sounded hella ominous.
You want to know more about what, Mordecai?
She's sending us to fields to go observe these things. We're leaving the hive.
You are heading out of the hive itself to where the tardigrades are farmed, per the request of Fel's Gons to help Petronilla to see what the heck is going on.
We don't get to see Petronilla first. I guess
Got a
she's
shuttle
out
from the
there.
upper hive. She had already
Okay,
taken
cool.
she'd already been on the lift to go down to the bowels. So
Okay, cool.
the engines wind up, the shuttle lifts, and it begins to head out away from Rokarth. Through the small viewports that are on this one, you can tell that this is a shuttle that stays in atmosphere. It does have viewports. You see as the hive, this massive structure striking off into the stratosphere, peels off behind you, and the shuttle kind of does a bank. And as it does, I'd like for all four of you to give me an awareness check, please.
hello, dice, my old friend.
Would my cinations apply to this at all?
I don't know. I don't believe so, but let me take a second peek really quick.
40 under 51.
Okay, 40 under 51 for a +1. Got it.
60 over 31.
Oof. Okay.
And 63 over 45, so -2.
Okay.
I was busy drawing shapes in the fog of the view.
So you have cinations just... Oh, no, I see. No, it would not. This is not a warp-based object.
Then I'm 56 over 54.
Okay, so 56 over 44. Dmitry,
No,
you were...
54.
Yep, so you're -0. Dmitry, you were -3.
Mm-hmm.
Mordecai +1. Roderick, what was yours again?
63 over 45, so -2.
Okay,
Wait, did you say it was a +0?
+0.
Okay.
You're all watching as the hive peels away, and as the ship banks, you see where the lapping acid swamps touch up to the base of the hive. This planet, as you know, is an acidic mud ball. Its main export are Medicae kits, med packs, and las packs. The acids of the planet themselves being sucked down into refineries to be converted into these byproducts. But the planet itself is horrific. This is not a planet you would live on if you didn't need these byproducts to create these objects for the material, for the Imperium. And as the ship banks, Mordecai,
Yeah.
with a +1, you're watching as the edge of the hive follows along, and as you're beginning to descend. So you are currently on the upper hive. You're 100 levels up. Now keep in mind that we talk about the upper hive and the lower hive as 2 levels. Each of them has numerous sub-levels or numerous different floors. So you're about 100 feet up. 100 feet, 100 levels up. So over 1,000 feet up. And you're beginning to drop. And as you get closer, you can see that surrounding the hive, there are these huge fields of algae and creatures. And you can see almost like the faintest people walking through the acid, walking through the marshes. And it's strange because as you're watching, you see as if there's like one little spot where they're in the middle of this swamp. There seems to be a small little fire because you see just this little plume of smoke, this small little plume of smoke, this small little plume of smoke that gets larger with a red glowing tip as it begins to get closer and closer. And as you watch, you see a missile, and you hear the pilot go,
shit.
"Brace!"
I knew I should have flown.
The pilot successfully yanks on the yoke. The ship tips hard, the hive dropping out of view, but you see the plume of smoke as the rocket goes by. The pilot is now screaming out, "We're under fire! We're under fire!" Tips back, begins to drop towards the ground as fast as they can. No clue where it's coming from.
We're all buckled in our seats,
where I
correct?
saw it start.
You are all buckled in your
so.
seats. And it's a good
I
thing
saw
you
it
are
come from
because...
just there.
What's that?
I would point at least to the direction where I first saw it start.
Okay. So you point in that direction, and the shuttle is at this point banking down steeply. And it's a good thing you're all buckled in, because as the first plume of smoke missed, the second one does not.
Oh boy.
And the engine on the port side, as you've begun to rapidly descend, the engine on the port side explodes in a plume of fire and smoke. And your ship begins to spin. The pilot yanks hard, and you can kind of see her back because you can see into the cockpit, but she's yanking on the thing, trying to right it. And the shuttle begins to level out just enough as she's killing power to the one remaining engine. And while the engine
Brad,
is gone,
are there any data ports? Can I R2D2 this bitch?
there's a data port. Yeah, you're on a basic shuttle. There's an access port that you
I
can
wish
plug
to
into.
cogitate if I have
Okay.
time.
You're rocking and shaking, so you're gonna have a -10 because you're trying to punch into something that's moving. But go for it.
I would like to purgate because I'm panicking.
Do it,
Yeah.
Roderick.
Uh-huh.
This is a stressful situation.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right.
I would like to stop playing.
Roll me your purgation charge.
It's gonna be bad. Oh, actually, it's not bad at all. That is a 10. Challenging is +0. Discipline psychic, huh?
Yep.
10 under 31.
Okay, so you will succeed on purgating your charges, and it will be a psychic phenomena because you did succeed even in a stressful situation. However, because it is stressful, you have to immediately roll on the psychic phenomena table, and you have to add +10 for each warp charge shed. So you're going to add +20.
Okay.
So roll me a D100. We're going to add
I like
20.
that. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Tell
What
me.
is that? So I rolled an 80,
Which means you rolled 100.
which is warp echoes. Everyone in the zone hears echoing voices and sounds from past events and things yet to be. Characters who hear this bewildering cacophony must pass a challenging +0 test or be stunned.
So, Dmitry, before you can cogitate, I
Thanks,
need all of
buddy.
you to give me a challenging +0 test.
Okay.
And the pilot.
Oh, God. I forgot about her.
And this is a what? You said a fear test?
Challenging +0 discipline.
Discipline.
That is a,
okay.
that's a really good time for the pilot to roll a 003. It's an auto success.
And how do I tell if it's
Discipline.
lingering or not?
It becomes lingering if you rolled the perils of the warp.
Okay.
64 over 33.
Beautiful.
I rolled a 26 over 32.
Under?
Dimitri's under. You're fine. Mordecai, you're stunned.
Under 32, yeah. That one.
Osiris,
21 under 58.
21 under 58. Good. And Roderick?
Oh, do I need to roll too?
Oh, yeah. Everyone in the zone.
Challenging +0 discipline. That's well, my dice love me right now. That's good. So it's a 12 under 31.
Okay. So, Mordecai, we'll get to this in a second. For lingering effects, Roderick, Osiris, it comes down to two things. The psychic phenomena affect your current zone and last for a D10 minute, or up to me. In this case, it's going to last for the full 10 minutes. And in addition, if a psychic phenomena occurs in a zone already affected by that phenomena, that's when the lingering kicks in. Or if you roll the 126, or the 101 to 125 on the table, which is the psychic breakthrough. So, for the next 10 minutes, warply voices scream out around you, each of you hearing different things. Mordecai, you are assailed by voices you recognize.
Oh.
People you lost fighting back against the Imperium to take your home. You hear the voices of the soldiers of the past screaming as if they are tortured and assailed, and that is why you, sir, are stunned. Osiris, Roderick, Dmitry, each of you pass your test. You will not be stunned, but you also hear whispering voices of the past. Osiris, yours being the voice of Elias Draven. You hear him talking in your ears. Roderick, you hear members of your family. Those who, well, they didn't shun you, weren't very sad to see you head out to get experience in the galaxy. Dmitry, you, sir, see the fleeting vision of the officer you killed. You hear his words again. Doesn't faze you. He deserved it. The pilot, thank God, pass. You hear as she begins muttering to herself, and you realize she's praying a litany. She has yanked on the yoke. The engine of these shuttles are on the exterior edges of the wings. They're not right along the body, so they are off on the wings a bit. So when the engine exploded, a chunk of the wing is gone, and she's doing everything she can to level you guys out. You hear her voice come across the Vox. I'd brace for this one. It's gonna fucking hurt. And as she says this, the shuttle splashes down, acidic mud rolling up and over the shuttle itself. The glass of the cockpit begins to sizzle. You hear the metal around you hissing. But you've landed.
That
And
works
somehow,
too.
thanks to her roll, you've landed right side up.
It was probably during the stuff that I was doing.
Yes, and speaking of, you were going to cogitate, so tell me how that went. Oh no, there's an entirely different thing to do with the cogitation, so tell me how that
And
went.
you said it was a -10, right?
-10 because you were jostling everywhere.
Okay, so that's a 19 under 60.
19 under 60, even with a -10, that's beautiful.
Shit.
Good roll.
Yeah,
So-
and so with my Ligua Techness,
Yeah.
right this time, I'd like to work in rapid fire type to the machine spirit that losing an engine really isn't that big of a deal. That shit happens all the time. And the Imperium only uses multiple engines for aesthetics. So, like, we're still good. Fly away.
I tell you what,
Gaslighter machine.
that's not what I expected. That's
They're
not what I
machine
expected.
spirits.
I will add that to the pilot's roll, and instead of crashing into the mud and acid, she manages to pull up enough with your assistance to the machine spirits to skim along the top, settling you nicely into the mud. You still hear the hissing and splashing, but it doesn't
Theatrically.
come up. Yeah, it doesn't come up
Yeah.
over the cockpit. And in addition to that, you essentially get the equivalent of the machine spirit gaslighting you back, saying, "That's bullshit. I needed that engine, but we're okay."
I'm not even an engine seer. I don't know, man. I pulled my plug. Fuck that engine spirit.
How did Warhammer go? Well, we gaslit the machine spirit. So you have touched down, thanks to Dimitri's actions, much nicer than the original crash. No one will suffer a wound, but the echoing warp screams continue, and the pilot is unstrapping herself, and she looks to each of you and says, well, you're about 2 clicks out from where you're supposed to be. Problem is, we're in the middle of an acid field. Looks at each of your clothing and goes, I'm going to assume you didn't bring acid-resistant clothing, did you?
I'm just sitting there rocking back and forth in my chair.
Well,
Yeah, no one really mentioned that, so
you weren't-
no.
I understand that because you weren't supposed to be here. We're supposed to be in the spaces where you'd be okay. She kind of opens a couple cabinets in the shuttle, like one of those like upper spaces, and goes, I've got a single acid-resistant poncho. I'm going to get picked up in the shuttle, so here. And she hands over a single acid-resistant cloak.
Brad,
Sir,
How demented in my mind am I right now? Do I have clarity of thought at all, or
You have clarity of
am I-
thought. You're just being assailed by the voices of the past, and you're stunned.
Well, in that case, Dmitry.
Do I see these fools wigging out, or are they acting
Only Mordecai.
normal to me?
Now, Mordecai,
Dmitry.
as you're getting assailed, how does it look?
I'm gonna
I'm
slap
literally
his teeth
sitting
loose.
here with.
Whack.
I'm sitting here with my
Is he
hands over
wigging?
my face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Osiris
you can
is
slap me. I
looking
still
in
hear it.
Roderick's
I'm gonna
direction.
I already
properly
failed the
treat him
test.
for shock and
Okay.
slap him.
Mordecai, as
Yummy.
you are holding your head in your hands, getting assailed by the voices, you feel Dimitri's meaty hand just whack across the cheek.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's not going to succeed my test for the next 10 minutes. So
Now your
Um,
cheek hurts and you're getting assailed by voices.
just, I'm going to lean back this way. Dmitry, listen to me.
What?
Plug back into the cogitator.
And
Please, just listen to me.
he speaks the bullshit. I plug back into the cogitator, sure.
All right. Can you look up Augustus's name and try to find any information on him, who he's affiliated with, if he has a criminal record, what he does?
Dude, say no more. Not only can I look that up, but I'm gonna do it in half the
I
time.
can't hear you over
thought
these
I was,
voices.
Motherfucker.
Roderick,
Carl's muted.
what the fuck was that?
I just kind of look over at you. What was what?
You know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm blind, not deaf.
Oh, there's more voices. Jesus, criminy.
I do.
You purgated just there. What was that?
You got vacation on my shoe.
What?
Are you not aware of what you just did?
I farted while we were diving.
Interesting.
No, he's not aware yet
And that-
of what he is doing.
Dmitry, you have an understanding of tech, so you would know that the cogitator on this shuttle is tied to the shuttle. It is not tied to the World Wide Web of Warhammer. What Mordecai is asking you to find, you don't even have to test. You as a character would know. You're not going to get it from the shuttle unless there is data of Augustus Jarrell on this shuttle.
No, I knew that. I was entertaining his ravings, but
Okay,
instead what I did is I fired up an instance of MS40K Notepad, and I've been getting the general vibe of what Mordecai's been laying down, and I'm gonna drop a little README file in here talking about how Mr. Augustus Jarrell, that dirty bitch, how he's tainted this way and that, embezzling funds, and just rumor mill the bitch out of that and leave that for the crash, the FAA and 40K to come and investigate.
All right. So you insert extra pieces of code and extra knowledge to the machine spirit of the shuttle about Augustus Jarrell.
Truths only. Yeah.
Truth's
Understood. So you are handed one acid-resistant cloak. The drop hatch to the shuttle drops, and in front of you is a stinking, filthy, putrescent green world. The water, as the shuttle ramp touches, the water begins to hiss and steam as it's hitting the metal and ceramite.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to stay here and wait for the shuttle with you, if you don't mind.
She looks and she says, "That is your right. You may do so, but that doesn't help you
my
get
right."
anywhere faster."
I was waiting for it.
I was waiting for it too.
This is right.
She looks to you and she says, "Recovery will take upwards of 6 hours. So you're more than welcome to wait, but just know it takes time."
All right. Hit me with the landscape, Brad. Who's going to lose their pants in the acid?
So the water itself is a filthy, murky green. And again, as the ramp hits, it hisses. There is the buzzing of insects. There is the sounds of sloshing water, of things moving out in the marsh. The actual landscape itself, you'd expect, based on what I'm saying, for it to be super foggy, but it's really not. There's a slight haze, and you realize it's fumes from the acid, but you can make out the hive in the distance. The land surrounding you are small, sodden banks of mud that rise from these craters of acid pools, with stunted and twisted tree trunks with no leaves rising to whatever sky. As you look up, the sky is overcast with a greenish orange gray cloud.
So we got Smeagol leading us across the dead marshes, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Don't stare into the light. But more so than that, and this is... Actually, let me check.
While the narrator is describing this area, I'm putting on my respirator.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea.
Okay. As
call.
you don your respirators, Dmitry, Mordecai... Dmitry, you have a rebreather, don't you?
I
have a
also have a
rebreather,
rebreather. Yeah.
I would say, who
Well,
has a
it
respirator,
says-
who has a rebreather?
No, mine says respirator, actually.
Respirator.
Mine's a rebreather because I'm
Rebreather.
bougie.
And you bought additional air tanks last time, correct?
I have one additional air tank, yes.
You have 2 hours of air. Got it.
Yeah.
Mordecai, do you have a rebreather or a respirator?
You're muted.
No, I think I have a rebreather.
Okay, check
I
real
just
quick.
heard, I think an elephant just fell down upstairs or something.
It's actually a tardigrade. They're in your house.
Could be, man.
They found you.
Oh, my dog fell off the bed.
Uh-oh.
Yikes. Yeah, she's a big dog, too.
She's a big dog. Big dog. While you check on the rebreather or respirator, as you're all
Rebreather.
donning rebreather, so Mordecai and Roderick, you have 2 hours of air. I'm assuming Mordecai also has a spare tank, am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you each have 2 hours of air, which will require changing it. Dmitry and Osiris, you have respirators, which will reduce the impact. You are still going to breathe the air of the area. As you all don this safety equipment, a peal of thunder booms. The water begins to get the faint ripples of rainfall. And as the rain falls, you hear again the hissing as an acid
Got an
rain
idea.
thunderstorm begins.
We really should have taken one of those cherubs that was spraying the statues.
Should have taken what?
What are you saying?
One of those things that was spraying down the statues, the anti-corrosion.
Oh,
I'm sure that's fine for our skin.
the
Dmitry,
engines.
what do you got?
So we have survival kits.
You do.
Those contain bedrolls and tents.
Yes.
I vote we use those to get through the rainstorm as cover until they melt, and then we use another, and so on.
It's a great idea. You can absolutely use your tents and your bedrolls as a makeshift poncho.
Unless Mordecai can use that trait that allows him to pull something out of his ass that's perfectly suited for this situation.
Yeah.
You have that talent.
I do, assuming I can pay for it.
Assuming
and
you
I'm
can
poor
pay
as
for it.
shit.
Pretty sure you can pay for it. What do we need?
I don't know. What do we need?
I mean, maybe nothing. We can try these. We don't really use the tents. We can
Yeah, maybe we
see
just,
how well they hold
maybe
up to
we
these types of elements.
We just go on about it for a minute until light bulb goes off, and at which point I'll be well prepared, whatever it is.
Well, you know what? As you try to decide what you're going to pull out of your bag to make this situation
Ass. He
perfect.
said ass.
Oh, out of your ass, excuse me. To
You're
make this
excused.
situation perfect. If you manage to somehow have acid-resistant clothing up your ass, I'm going to be impressed by the capacity of your storage. But we'll find out next time on the Tainted Hive just how true that is.
The only thing in that bag right now is a link to primegamemagic.com.
Nice.
You heard it here first. The only
That was
thing in the
tight.
bag is the link to PrimetimeMagic.com. Thank you to our show
Well
sponsors,
prepared, indeed.
PrimetimeMagic.com. Thank you to everyone for tuning in and listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode of The Tainted Hive, Season 2, Children of Rokarth. Please head over to our website, www.deadsonsco.com, where you can get access to The Tainted Hive Season 1, Season 2, Daggerheart, and a whole lot of other stuff.
Hey, go
And
show
most-
Daggerheart some love too. It was a fun time.
It was a good time.
So-
It was. Good old high
gonna do it
fantasy
again?
action. But with that, we're Dead Sons Company. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time on The Tainted Hive.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.